happiness to others. You discover extraordinary talent in yourself, which you didn't even know that it existed, and you transcend all your limitations. Therefore, this is the subject that we call inspired leadership. Inspired leadership that is not same as motivated leadership. See, motivation is when somebody motivates you. Inspiration is when you get deep inspiration from inside. So inspired leaders understand that they understand these 6 layers of self, and they know that their innermost layer is the unlimited potential. So they know that leadership for them is leading the way they perceive and act through the bodies, the way they relate to others through their emotions, the way they think through their thoughts, and they know that they can be led by the unlimited, powerful consciousness and spirit within. So they are not trapped in other people's choices. They make conscious choices. And when they enable others to do so, they become very powerful leaders. Now, let's come to the brass tacks. This is really the deep philosophy that I talked about. How do we practice that? Here are 4 simple steps which are recommended to you. First, ask yourself the question, right from a young age till today, what were the moments in my life when you really came alive? The moments which gave you the maximum joy. When you and your classmates in school, or your neighbors in the community, or you and your family, or you and your colleagues at the workplace did some of your best work. And when you did that best work, what did you discover about yourself? What gives you that life-giving moments of aha, the best of what is? So first, learn to appreciate your own strengths. Every individual has certain strengths and certain gifts. And the real meaning of the word education is know yourself, which means know your strengths. The second part is once you have discovered your strengths, which are your uniqueness and which are very different from anybody else's uniqueness, because God makes every person in a very unique way, then the question is, how do I dream to leverage this discovery? That means the second D in the 4D is dreaming. How can I leverage my gifts and my strengths towards creating the highest common good in the world? And third, once you have made a powerful dream or a vision to say how I can use my strengths to make our world better. The definition of the world for Mahatma Gandhi, it was for the whole country. For you, it might be just your own family. It doesn't matter what your zone of influence is. But the question must be asked, how can I use my strengths towards serving the needs of those who matter to me? When I do that, I create a powerful vision for myself. Once I have done that, I then created design. That means if this is the dream, how do I convert that into an ideal future by focusing on some specific steps? How do I design the future by working on some specific goals that matter to me? And the last point is, once I'm clear on the design of constructing my future, how do I empower myself by learning and adjusting and improvising? Therefore, delivering on my own promise to myself about my own dream. So this is what we call the 4D. Discover yourself at your best. Dream with that discovery a powerful future. Create a very specific design of focusing on some critical factors which are important. And then hold yourself to the discipline of making the execution happen on your dream. So, to summarize, when you discover your gifts, and you might do this after the workshop or the webinar today, you might in your silence of your own, take a quiet place, sit down and say, right from the young age to today, if I make my life map, when was I at my best and most joyful? What were those moments? What actually happened? Who were the people involved? What was special about this experience? What enabled me to give up the best? And what does this teach me about my own strengths? And do this exercise with childlike enthusiasm. Don't do it with a tired mind which is already full of anxiety for the future or regret about the past. Enjoy this process of sitting down and asking yourself the question. And then, after this process is over and you have made notes about your strengths, you might want to then say, what is the story I have been telling myself about my own self? What have I been calling the high points and low points of my life? And what has also, on the other hand, caused some kind of low points of sadness or regret or guilt? That has been the story of my life so far. What would I like the story of my life to be in the future? Imagine a day many years from now and imagine what should be the story of my life unfolding. What should I be speaking about my life to others, which is full of authenticity, which makes me truly happy about my future? Once you have done that, then ask yourself this important question. Based on the story of my life, what is my own calling? You see, this word calling is a very special word. Calling comes from deep inside. This calling doesn't come from the body. It does not come even from your emotional mind. It does not even come, it's not an intellectual exercise. But when you completely are silent and are fully focused on this question to say, why am I in this world? What is the purpose that I have been born? And some of the indications to that are from the moments which have given you the maximum joy, because the ones which have given you the maximum enthusiasm. Do you know that the literal meaning of the word enthusiasm is enthusiasm, being one with God? And so, ask yourself the question, the ones which gave you joy is your calling. Now ask yourself the question, to what extent is the way you're leading your life today personally and professionally aligned to your calling? What changes do you need to bring about in the way you spend your time every day? What are the things you need to learn more, which we call competency? What are your own unique strengths that you should be using a lot in order to develop this competency? Let me give an example. Let's say your strength is analytical ability. And let's say your one aspect that you need to develop more in order to become a better and happier person is how to work in a team or how to develop deeper relationships. Then ask yourself the question, how can I use my analytical ability to become better at dealing with people? Then say, what are the specific steps I will take to develop these competencies? For example, spending time with those who are very good in dealing with people. For example, watching videos on emotional intelligence. For example, attending some courses on how to become better at teamwork. And by doing your analytical ability research, you will be able to find methods to improve your teamwork, as an example. And then ask yourself the question, how can I spend the time in the most purposeful way by focusing on things that truly matter to me, by learning aspects that I need to learn, and by leveraging my gifts? And then ask yourself the question, how can you reduce the